Hey gang, Z-Man here. We're back for another episode, but today we're going to review the Walthers Mainline F7 A and B. I actually have a complete set of 4 of them to make an ABBA unit, just like how we spoke about in the multiple unit episode. So let's get on to a quick prototype history and then we'll get into the review. The EMD F7 defined railroading and dieselization at the end of the steam era during the 1950s. Nearly every Class 1 railroad operated at least one, and many rostered dozens or even hundreds of these locomotives. When one pictures Electromotive's classic streamlined diesels, the F7 most often comes to mind because of its distinctive car body shape. The F7 was the 4th in EMD's model of successful F-Series freight diesel locomotives and came directly after the F3, with the first examples being produced out of Electromotive Division's McCook, Illinois plant in February 1949. With the success of the F3, a total of 1,111 cabbed A units and 696 cabless booster B units were built because of EMD's reputation for reliability was firmly established. The resulting success of the F3 made sales of the F7 take off meteorically. With the sales success of the F3, the F7 had a total of 2,393 cabbed A units and 1,463 cabless booster B units produced, for a total of 3,856 units produced. Production ran from February 1949 to December 1953 when the F9 came into production. Roughly 50 railroads purchased A units, B units, or both. The single largest buyer was the Southern Pacific Railroad, which purchased 294 A units and 236 B units. Other major buyers include the Santa Fe, the New York Central, the Baltimore and Ohio, which my model represents, and the Pennsylvania Railroad. The F7's prime mover is a 16-cylinder 567B series diesel engine developing 1,500 horsepower or 1.1 megawatts at 800 RPM with a roots-blown supercharger. Just to reiterate, 567 stands for 567 cubic inches per cylinder or 9.3 liters per cylinder, and when added together, the total displacement totaled 9,072 cubic inches, or 148.66 liters in total displacement. EMD was still wary of installing turbochargers, and this conservative approach paid off until the development of a reliable turbocharger that would appear in the 567 D2 engine in 1959. The F7 is essentially a slightly upgraded F3, and internally, it only differed slightly from the F3. Largely through internal components. The model featured an updated generator, D12B, and traction motors, D27C, and continued to carry the 567B prime mover. The new traction motors and generators were more durable than the previous, furthering EMD's efforts to continually improve its product and keep locomotives on the road and enhance their reputation of reliability. Generally speaking, the F7 was equipped with 62 to 15 gear ratio for freight surface, offering a top speed of 65 miles per hour or 105 kilometers per hour. In all, EMD offered the model in 8 different gear ratios ranging from 56 to 21 for passenger or 65 to 12 for freight. Passenger gear ratios could support speeds up to 102 miles per hour or 164 kilometers per hour. Starting tractive effort was slightly increased with the new traction motors than the previous model's 55,000 pounds or 247 kilonewtons to 56,500 pounds or 251 kilonewtons, and had a continuous tractive effort of 40,000 pounds or 180 kilonewtons at 9.3 miles per hour or 15 kilometers per hour. The standard fuel tank capacity for the EMD was 1,200 gallons or 4,542.5 liters. When additional power was needed, another cab A unit or a cabless booster B unit would simply be lashed onto the back into interesting AB configurations that I spoke about in the multiple unit operations video that is linked below in the description of this video. With so many F7 diesels produced, they were a common sight on railroads and proved so reliable and useful that hundreds remained in regular freight service through the 1980s to the 1990s on main lines or on short lines and industrial settings. Today, many F7s are preserved and several examples are still operational in museums and tourist railroads. Before we get into the model review, Here are the vital specifications to the EMD F7. So for many of you that have watched my videos or subscribed to my videos, you know that I'm primarily a Pennsylvania Railroad modeler. However, if you looked at my description, I also modeled New York Central and Baltimore and Ohio. So today's models are Baltimore and Ohio flagged F7s. Just so you know, these Walthers products come in many different road names, and they also are continuously available. I checked on the website recently and there's a few left. I've also checked eBay and there's plenty on sale, and you could probably still find leftovers around on other internet sites. Another part with these almost being continuously available is they're in different road names. So if your road name is not pictured here, don't fret. The EMD F7 diesel is not road name specific. It is a generic product, and they were bought by all major railroads. I bought all my locos as F7 ABBA sets in November 2023 as part of a flash sale for $202 per set. This was hard to refuse, and I got 4 locomotives plus free shipping for $404 plus taxes. You have to hunt the sales in this hobby because it's expensive. The normal MSRP for these locomotives for the ABBA set was $419.98, or $209.98 for single A and B units. Just to go over a few of the product features, these seem to be of the old proto tooling and have colorful paint schemes, factory installed handrails, and are available in DCC, which I have right here, and DC. The DCC has ESU sound, but are dual mode DC-DCC. They have 4 air horns, 2 bells, full 8-notch prime mover sounds, and multiple lighting effects. So these locomotives have the same powerful Walthers Proto 5-pole skew motor wound with 14:1 gear ratio, helical cut gears for quiet operation, and they are quiet. All-wheel drive pickup, dual machine brass flywheels, and a heavy die-cast chassis. They also have an LED Mars light on the A units and correct RP25 metal wheels, plus these are metal Walthers Proto couplers, which for this price, it's great instead of dealing with standard plastic couplers. As a note from Walthers, do not use these with power packs that exceed 18 volts, which includes the MRC 1300 power packs, which have known issues with these decoders. Let's take a closer look at the A unit. Let me get the B unit out of the way. So as we look at this, and I'm going to zoom in here. So this is a 1949 to early 1960s paint scheme. So it's a really beautiful paint scheme, and that's why I picked this one up. There was also a later paint scheme for the late 60s through the 90s, but that's out of my era. But let's just go over a couple of details. I mean, one, you got that metal coupler, just awesome. You've got your Mars light. You've got the windshield with windshield wipers. They're just molded in. And let's turn this around. The handrails on this, unlike the mainline GP9, are actually included, so you don't have to buy a separate kit. This is pretty much an older Walthers Proto. This model is specific to B&O, so we got 2 dual Leslie air horns. If we look over here at the top, I'm just going to get this over here. The molding for the air vents is pretty nice. And you've got, you know, your fuel lines, plus connectors, more handrails, and then go to the back of the A unit. We also have a nice little covered vestibule so they can transfer between A and B units. All right, let me talk about the B unit. So the B unit, again, lovely paint scheme. Same covers over here, same great detail. Let's brush that off. Same great detail on the top, even though it's molded in. It still looks really good. So what's really nice, and I really got to zoom in on this, is there is an F, so you know that this is the front of the B unit. So when you put that on the track, make sure you situate your B units in the correct direction that you want them. So last details I forgot to mention, the road number boards. These don't light up, but the lights that are on here are directional and they shine really nice without, any weird blue color. With this complete, let's get into the length, the weight of these, and then we'll go on to the sound test, the pulling test, and the speed test. Okay, with the details complete, let's get all of our locomotives down to the Tinaberg test track for the sound test, the pulling test, and the speed test. So here are my final thoughts on these locomotives. Walthers Mainline again provides a great value. I have a ton of fun with these locomotives. The ESU sounds great. I think they pull just enough, especially seeing how I have 4 of them in an ABBA set. Adding weight to these is not going to be a problem for me. I did that with the GP9s because you can use them as switchers, but generally when you see these F7s, they're working in teams. All right, let me leave you with a couple of pass-bys of a coal train. Have a great one, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.